Now I should come clean here. Neil is not a Lakers fan, people. All right, Neil is a good friend of mine. We've been talking hoops for many years now, and can you? I know you're a Sacramento Kings fan. How did you become a Sacramento Kings fan, Neil?
I just like Chris Webber.
If you
It
can,
was it was
if
it
you can,
was I really loved basketball as a kid, and I kind of got out of it, and when I got back into it, it felt weird rooting for, like, you know, Shaq and Kobe, so I went with the underdog.
I think it's going to be an interesting 20 some odd games, 30 games to close out the season. It's going to be it's going to be a rough one because we have some tough teams coming up. I'd be interested to see the chat's opinion about, overall, obviously we're not Nostradamuses here, Nostradami, but what are people's predictions for how the Lakers close out the season? Last year, I think they wanted to go 19-9. They ended up going 18-10, and so pretty close to Dennis Schroeder's projection at the time. And if they can replicate something like that, is that enough to move us up into and Neil, I don't know if you can't see the chat, so I'll tell you. Dante T is upset how Christia uppercut Rick Fox back in the day. Let's throw that up on the chat. Those were some glorious NBA times when people were battling each other and off court. That happened back court, if I recall, or they got into it again off court. I can't remember how that all shook out. Oh yeah, most of the yes. Cool, bro. I agree. Joe probably is the most reviewed of us all, and that's because he's famous for his rants, and people love a good rant. I love a good rant. I'm a little more level-headed. I try not to get too wrapped up in things that I actually have no mental, physical, spiritual, or control over of any kind. I'm a fan. And I want to be an educated fan. And so that's why I like to do stuff like this, because I enjoy seeing other people's opinions. I enjoy the back and forth debate that we have on the show. And I think it's important to keep things in perspective. And so I try to offer a little bit of just general perspective as things go. Yeah, Dante, I think 20-6 is a little. I think that might be a little bit, shall we say, optimistic. And if we went 20-6, I think that could maybe get you as high as 5th, 6th in the West, depending on how things shake out for the teams. I mean, it means if we go 20-6, we're probably beating a lot of in-conference and in-division teams, which is what we need to do to move up. At this point, we got a nice home schedule when we get back, but it's tough teams. So it's important that we try to maximize this, because when we had our last nice cushy home schedule after the 6-game road trip, I think we only went 7-8 or 8-7. It was roughly 500. And so that was a blown opportunity, I felt like, to really kind of do something to move up in the standings. And Neil, if you can get your video working, either great and give me a thumbs up, or just like blather something and say I'm back, because I don't think I have you muted. But yeah, I do. Negradamus is the. Oh man, I love the chat. Yeah, that's right, Dante. Yeah, they went after it. That was that little 3-season stretch where we won back to back with Shaq and Kobe was just punishing Laker basketball like you've never seen it before. Like the combination of Kobe and Shaq was just a punishing combination that many teams had no answer for. And as we all know, it was nothing but hubris that caused it to go down in flames. Well, let's see. I see you, Neil. Neil, are you back? Oh, wait.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I still can't see you, but we can work with this.
Sorry, I think my Pro Tools setup is wrecking everything.
Oh, maybe, yeah. You might be ciphering. They might be sending stuff to your editor.
No,
Well,
I don't. I'm so confused.
that's all right. Let's just do it this way. Let's move on with our lives. So your Kings are kicking butt this season. How do you feel about that?
I mean, they're fine. They can't really play defense,
I mean, that's half the
but
NBA.
yeah. I just whatever. Look, they've been so bad for so long. I don't like anything is good.
Yeah,
Like last season was absolute joy, and
yeah.
hopefully this season is. I mean, this season's been super fun too. So whatever. I don't. They're not gonna win anything, but
I mean, not with
I
an
don't
attitude
care.
like that, they won't.
Well, I mean, they're not. I feel like they're one player away from being like scary.
Who would you? Who
If
is
that
the
makes sense.
sure? What's the position you would target? I mean, obviously you're set at
They,
point guard.
yeah, Harrison Barnes got to go.
You would trade. Would you have traded Harrison Barnes at the deadline?
Maybe I don't. I mean, I don't mind him being on the bench, but like as a starter, like they get it makes everything. What's his name's problem?
Right.
Why am I spacing on his name?
De'Aaron Fox has to solve it.
Sabonis,
Oh, yeah.
and then Sabonis has to solve everything inside because Barnes is too little,
Right.
and so that's a little tough.
Do they start Barnes at the
I don't-
4?
Yes, unfortunately,
Right. So you could have done with like
because
a Grant Williams or I can't that PJ Washington or somebody like maybe not a true 4, but like at least a little more size.
at least like at least a tweener.
Like a Jared.
Like somebody. Yeah, they just need someone who can get a rebound who isn't going to get in Sabonis's way.
Right. You need Dennis Rodman.
Because he can't shoot.
Yeah. I don't know how Dennis would fare in the modern NBA. I mean, the dude pulled down 49 rebounds in a game, so I think he'd probably be all right. But,
I think he'd be fine.
I think Dennis Rodman would figure it out. He'd be like Draymond Green. He'd be like the modern. He'd be more Draymond Green than even Draymond Green can be, which is saying something. People are saying that you're really John Cena, by the way. Senna. Neil is so cool, bro. Neil and I have been friends for many years. We've talked basketball for many years. He's as much an expert as any of us. You may have taken a film class from him in your lifetime, if you went to school in the Southern California area. And if you're into indie short films, you may have seen one of his short films at some point. And you will never see his documentary on the Garage Theater because he's never going to finish it. But
there's so many hours. It's so many hours.
There's only so many hours in the day. Yeah.
Yes.
Where people are reliving our Kobe Shaq years from when they battled the Sacramento Kings, and it was epic battles back then. I always kind of felt bad for the opposing center when it came to battling Shaq because it really wasn't fair. And I thought of all the centers that played against Shaq, that Divac and Arvydas Sabonis, ironically, were the two that gave him the most trouble. I think Vlade's ability to play from multiple positions on the floor that wasn't the paint was difficult for Shaq, and I think Sabonis's combination of strength and passing, if not athleticism because of the age at which he entered the NBA. I always wanted to see the Sabonis of like 5 years before he got to the NBA, because that guy was a beast, according to legend. But we'll never know because we didn't get to see him play. And it
was sad.
Yeah, I mean, because the guy was highly skilled. You couldn't doubt that. Like, he could shoot, he could pass. I feel like both Vlade and Sabonis would have been like stretch threes in the modern NBA, and nobody would have had a problem with it. They would have been like, please shoot the three. And Vlade could have smoked his half pack of cigarettes, shot 3-pointers, and just had a great life, cashing in triples from beyond the arc. What's up, Kurt Affair? Cool Bro wants to have you make a film starring him, and it's an action film. Cool Bro, you're gonna need to come up with a little bit better pitch. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to put the pitch up there so you can see it, Neil. I'm not sure if you can see it on the stream, but he doesn't really make action films. They're a little bit grittier than that. I mean, if you did make an action film, what would your action film be, Neil?
I don't know, villainess.
What was that?
Like the villain. I don't know if you've seen the Villainess.
I have not.
It is a South Korean action film that is absolutely bananas.
Okay, absolutely. What's the action film where the guy has to like fight his way up all the floors? I forget what it's called.
The Raid.
The Raid. Is it more
The
bananas?
Raid is excellent.
Yeah, that's a great action film. And anything by John Woo, I love too. Would you do like a John Woo style, like pulp?
Oh yeah,
8 million per scene.
Yeah, get a bunch of doves, a lot of slow mo,
Yeah,
a lot of bullets. It'll be fine.
I'll be in that movie with you, cool, bro. That sounds great. All right, The Raid. Thank you, Kurt. Yeah, everybody's loving. Everybody's showing The Raid some love. It was a great movie. I didn't see the second one. I'm sure it was not as good as
the second one's. The second one's excellent as well.
Really?
Yes.
Good to know. I mean, I was surprised.
I will defend this.
The first one. I remember being like, "Man, this guy's amazing." And then for those who are fans of that kind of action, that's the Daredevil series, the only Marvel series of those 5 characters. I forget what they're called. There's an awesome like where he fights his way down like a series of there's a pretty, which is reminiscent of another action. Anyway, I love a good action scene, especially one with few to no cuts. Even if it's fake few to no cuts like Hardcore Henry, which was, they try to make you think it's no cuts, but it's just they're just really creative with their editing and on point with their editing. So, but I digress. This is a basketball podcast. The Kings are currently 7th, right? 6th or
7th or 8th?
They're 7th or 8th. Yeah, they're a couple of the Lakers. I think the Lakers are sitting pretty at 9 and the Warriors are 10. The entire Pacific Division, basically, except for the Suns, is fighting for a play-in spot. Obviously, not the Trailblazers, and I think they're in the other one, even though they're pretty as far west as you can. They're more west than Phoenix is, more Pacific than Phoenix is, which I've always found kind of ironic. But what do you see this Kings being able to make a push and getting up into the 5-6 area?
I mean, sure, why not?
You don't think, but you don't think seeding matters. You just don't think they're going to go all the way for whatever reason.
Hey, look.
And this isn't. Let me ask you, because I know when be pessimistic all the time and think your team is never going to do anything, but at some point you got to believe, right?
No, yeah, like it all just depends on if Keegan Murray's good. When Keegan Murray is good, they're tough.
Yeah.
And when he's not good, they're very beatable. So I mean, that's a lot to put on a dude who's like what, second year?
Second year.
But he's pretty good. But again, when he's good, they're good. And when he's good, it makes up for the fact that like they have such streaky players like Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter and guys like that who like either can't miss or couldn't hit the ocean from a pier.
Right.
So
I hate that level of streaky player. Although I think Monk is a little less streaky than that because he can get inside. But like Huerter, if his 3 isn't going in, he might as well not play.
Yeah. Monk's a clever player. I'll give him that. When his 3 is not dropping, he still figures out like ways to be useful.
Right.
Whereas Herder is just like, I'm gonna keep jacking 3s, and you're just like, bro, they're not going in. Please stop.
Oh, you've described every Laker shooter that they've brought in for the last 10 years. Like, just please stop.
What are you talking about? Wait, who'd they bring in this year?
Torian Prince.
Did that not work out?
No, it's working out about as well as, Bullock or Matthews or I don't know, Macklemore or any number of shooters we've brought in over the last 10 years to create space for any number of players. And they just like, oh man, that was 40%. Or Malik Beasley is my favorite one, shooting 40% before he gets to the Lakers. And he drops to like 30, 32, 33. And you're just like, what is it? Is it the tacos? Is it, what is it? Stop. Whatever you're doing, do it different because you're not making shots, bro.
I feel like Malik Beasley, you can't play.
Well, I mean, he's doing great in Minnesota this season.
He shoots really well, but he couldn't defend a chair. like he's bad on that end.
I was in front of him.
Like I could get by him, and I'm old, and my back hurts.
And you have
frequently. Well, I mean, I have two knees. I'm not like, my back hurts. I have to do a lot of yoga.
Okay, that's good. Hey, good job. I do a lot of yoga. That's funny. I think that it's funny because when the Lakers got Malik Beasley at the trade deadline last season, I was like, this is the guy, right? Like, here it comes. We're finally gonna have that guy who, like, LeBron or somebody kicks it out and he cans a three, and then he proceeded to not do it, and we had to rely on like a combination of D'Lo, Vanderbilt, and Hachimura, and it just it took us to the Western Conference Finals, and that was great. And like, I do kind of believe that if you lose to the team that ends up winning the NBA Finals, you kind of just have to say like, well, we gave it our best shot, which is what happened. And I think Denver with home court advantage as currently constructed might be an unstoppable team. The only way you can beat Denver is if you have fewer games, if you have more home games than Denver does. And so that is going to be a problem for as long as the Joker is playing at the level that he's playing at. And he's not old. He's just kind of rounding into his prime, and he looks kind of ageless right now. Like the best version, how maybe Arvydas Sabonis used to play back in the day, just kind of an unstoppable force on offense, not just because of his scoring, but because he opens up the floor with his passing in a way few players have the ability to do. And he's like, his audacity with the ball is kind of incredible to me at times, where he just makes these ridiculous passes that are perfect. And you're just like, I don't know who else can do that. Like, it's like the list is like 5 players long. It's like Steve Nash, Magic Johnson, the Joker. That might be it that I've actually seen with my own eyes. I can't think of another point guard that's as magical with the passes. And he's a center. It's the other thing. The guy's just incredible. And so I think of, but I will say this. I think of all the teams that match up against Denver best, I think Minnesota and Sacramento have an advantage because of the way that they play. I think that the way the Lakers play kind of plays into Denver's hands. Because they can out-transition us in Denver. They're going to run faster than we are in Denver. They're going to play faster than we are physically able to in Denver just because of the altitude adjustment. How do you feel about matching up with the top 3 or 4 teams in the West? Who would you rather?
Bad. Very bad.
Who would you like to avoid if at all possible, and who do you feel like you match up well against?
I would like to avoid Denver,
of course,
because I think they look insanely good, and I feel like they're not really trying that hard
right now.
They look like they just look like they're like killing time till the playoffs start,
which is scary.
Yeah, and they're still killing teams. I would like Minnesota because I don't believe in any of those guys. I think Karl Anthony Towns is not reliable. I don't know how to put it. He's a nice player, but like I'm not buying it.
Right. I don't believe
although Anthony Edwards is pretty good.
Ant-Man is ridiculous. And I think that Mike Conley on that team helps kind of just stabilize things, as does Gobert. The fact that Gobert and Conley played together for so long, I think helps as well. I think it kind of allows Cat a free pass to just be, for lack of a better, to be like the Lamar Odom of that team. Like, it'd be great if you scored 30, but if you can just give us 15, 10, and 5, that works, right? Like, and play some defense, like that works for us, right? Because Ant-Man,
Yeah, I just don't think he's gonna do that.
you don't think he can even come up to
Like,
level?
no, like he scored 60 in a game and they had to bench him because he wouldn't stop shooting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and he wasn't hitting anything. And he was just like, "Oh, I'm gunning for 70 now." And it's like, well, you guys lost. You
Right.
scored like 63 points and you still somehow lost.
Right. That's good point. Valid.
I don't know. I don't want Oklahoma City makes me nervous because they're very, very good. And I feel like they're gonna I mean, I guess they've never been to the playoffs, but I don't really want to find out.
Yeah.
If they're any good.
I mean, yeah.
I would take Phoenix just because I don't. They've got 3 super duper stars who can go supernova,
Right.
but are they all gonna be healthy? And they're all like jump shooting guys, so sometimes in series the jump shot stops, and they're not really like attack the rim type players, so
or defenders.
No, they're a bad defensive team, man.
And that's with Frank Vogel, who's like maybe the best defensive-minded coach in the NBA. Top 5, anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, look, if the Kings make the playoffs, I'll be super excited. I don't really care. I don't care who they play. I've been in the wilderness so long. I've been like, just every year it's been like, well, what terrible draft pick are they going to choose this year? And that's been the highlight of the year. And now they actually win games. So anything's fine. I'll take anything.
Okay, that's open-minded. But if only Laker fans could be so forgiving of their team. But we're not.
You guys win titles and stuff, though. Kings don't win shit.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
there's a reason they call it Cowtown.
Well, that's because they brought cows.
There's a lot of cows there too. I don't know if anyone's been to Sacramento. It's not like a raging metropolis.
No, it's not. It's fine. It's nice. Downtown Sacktown's all right. Let me ask you a question. I know you spent a lot of time in Seattle and that you're a Seattle Mariners fan. Would you have made the Supersonics your team over the Kings?
Yes, I miss the Supersonics.
Say that again.
I went to Sonics games when I was a kid, and I miss the Supersonics.
I do too. I think Seattle deserves a team, and I hope that they're like top of the list on the expansion list when that eventually comes through.
Kings fans are excited to turn on a flashlight for whoever's in the comments there. Look, man, we've been. Look, I had to live through. Who was the kid from BYU they drafted?
I forget. Oh, I know who you mean. The shooter.
Yes, Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, Jimmy. That's right, Jimmer for not Jimmy, Jimmer.
Yeah, I had to live through those years, so I'll take anything. I don't know why you're laughing.
Because it's true. It's like, I mean, it's hard.
It is.
It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's nice to see. I mean, for me, that's the Angels, right? The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in California, in the United States of America, on planet Earth, with their longest, weirdest name ever. Like, it can be hard, but like, I'm not somebody who will ever like be like, you know what, that's it, I'm swapping. Like, I have a friend who's a Dodger fan who's always like, there's plenty of room in Dodger blue, and I'm like, I'm not doing it, dude. Like, I'm not gonna become a Dodger fan. Like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It's just this is not going to happen. Like, and I love Shohei Ohtani. I'm annoyed and angry that the Angels didn't retain his services, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm still rooting for the Angels. Mainly, I'm just rooting for Artie Moreno to sell the team, much like you probably rooted for a series of owners to sell the team. But we're stuck with the owners we got because we're not billionaires and we can't buy a baseball team or a sports franchise. I have one more question about the Kings. Would you be excited or about a rematch with the Golden State Warriors? And how do you think that series would go? I would like to see the Kings get revenge against one of my least favorite players in the league, and just because I think he's kind of the king of cheap shots, and that's Draymond Green. That whole chest stomping thing last playoffs was just I was surprised that he played anymore after that in the playoffs. Like, it was very surprising to me. Oh my god,
That was a lot.
that
Uh,
that was
I'll
just.
I'll take a rematch. Sure.
I would love a rematch. I think.
I mean, look, man, they took him to 7 games, and it took like an insane Steph Curry game in Game 7 for the Warriors to win, which was not a great sign for them.
no,
And they don't look super good this year.
no.
But
I mean,
you know,
they might round into shape by the playoffs and have maybe like a 9, 10, 8 seed. And I think they're one of those
guys they're just so old.
Rolling, that's a problem. But like, Clay has not shown any kind of consistency this entire season, so it's hard to believe he'll discover it in the playoffs. But you never know. This comment by Kurt Affair is, Jimmer had a good career in China, though.
He did. He was like on one team he was averaging like it was something like ridiculous, like 38 points a game or something.
Right. Everybody's talking about who are the greatest NBA players who went to China. Stephon Marbury.
Whoever's voting for Stephon Marbury is probably true, right?
Yeah, Stephon Marbury probably was the biggest star. I mean, Dwight Howard wishes he was Stephon Marbury, but he's only Dwight.
Stephon Marbury also put up like video game numbers over there.
Right. I mean, he was just ready to like dominate. He was ready for some team to be like, dude, you're the best player on the team. Go score a lot of points. And he went, check. I can do that. Don't ask me to play defense. Don't ask me to manage the locker room. I just want to score a lot. Yeah, Kurt Affair, you got a good point about De'Aaron Fox. That I think that what I like about De'Aaron Fox this season is that there's nobody surprised by De'Aaron Fox. Like, if you don't know that he's a superstar and one of the best point guards in the game, then you're probably not a very good coaching staff, or not a knowledgeable fan. And so I think if he's cooking, and if the thing I think that can unlock the Kings is if Sabonis can just put together a 15, 20-foot jumper. He doesn't need to shoot threes. He just needs to be able to shoot that top of the key 20-foot jumper when they sag off of him and he has the ball at the top of the key, which is where he likes to make plays from. But they sag off of him and they dare him to shoot. And it's like the Russell Westbrook treatment from all over the court with Russell Westbrook, except when he drives them to it is. I mean, I love Russ. I wanted it to work on the Lakers. It's unfortunate for me that it didn't, although not surprising. But I've always loved Russell Westbrook. I love that type of player, that tenacious, like, I'm gonna run through a brick wall, and whether it works or not, it doesn't matter. I'm still running through the brick wall because that's what I do, man. That's what I do. And so, but Sabonis has a similar limitation in that if he's not hitting shots from the outside in the playoffs, it's going to be him with the ball at the top of the key, looking at a loaded defense, watching him, being like, "Go ahead, bro, shoot it." And if he can't get over that, I don't know. I think that is a problem for the. Kurt Affair has a question for you, Neil Corbin. In retrospect, would you have rather kept Tyrese Halliburton? Personally, I would say no.
That's a hard one, actually. I mean, Halliburton's really good. I don't think Halliburton would be Halliburton on a team with him and Fox.
So would you have traded
Fox?
You've traded Fox or Halliburton in retrospect?
I don't want to say I love De'Aaron Fox. I don't want to say I would trade him.
Yeah,
he's giving me hope, so it's hard. I don't know. One of them had to go though.
Right. No, I agree.
Like,
too many fish in the pond.
Like, you couldn't. Yeah, like, it was just there's only one ball.
Right.
I would, at this point, I'm not, like, I'm excited Halliburton's really good. The Pacers have like Kings level defense, so they might actually be worse somehow. Like, you look at their box scores, it's like 146, 135. And that's in regulation, so
right. No overtime. a lot of threes these days.
But Halliburton's going to be a hell of a player. So I don't know. At the moment, I'm not sad because I love Fox, and I feel like getting rid of Halliburton also like helped Fox like really lock in, if that makes sense.
Yes. Kurt Affair, who he says it's Sophie's choice, but he would have kept Halliburton. I mean, I don't know that there is a right answer or a wrong answer. I think you're looking at two, in some ways, very stylistically different point guards, and that De'Aaron Fox, I think, is by far the superior scorer, and Halliburton is probably the overall superior point guard in terms of like your classic point guard template, like can score inside, can score outside, great game manager, low assist to turnover ratio, gets a lot of assists, few turnovers, and is generally like really, really smart with the ball, like at an elite level. I think of the two, Fox is maybe the very slightly more injury prone simply because of how he plays the game in the air and at a higher speed. If I had to pick a guy to build around, I'd probably pick Halliburton, but it would only be if there was another bigger star on the team who was like an Anthony Edwards type guy. And I think that's what the Pacers are missing, to be honest, is like an elite small forward, and they're going for it with Siakam. And I'm not sure that's. I mean, I think they brought him in the hopes that he would elevate the defense in Indiana, and I don't know that we've seen that yet because it's still video game box scores. So it's going to be interesting to see how that East Coast shakes out. The Knicks could be a problem if they can get healthy. If Embiid comes back, that's a problem. But if the Knicks don't have half their team, like they don't have half their team right now, and if Embiid's out, and the Bucks just look like they're slowly imploding in slow motion, I don't see anybody stopping Boston, which is annoying to me on multiple levels. It is. I hate the Celtics. They're the worst. Let's see. Dunk contest. Who you all taking? Oh, I mean, is there a dunk contest? It's going to be Mac McClung because who cares? It's like, it's like the dunk contest has become like what G Leaguer is going to try to impress somebody and get a 10-day contract, like Matt McClung got out of the dunk contest. Somebody said like the dunk contest sucks now because there's no stars, and I tend to agree. Like, I don't care that somebody who's not going to make it in the NBA can dunk. Like, I can go to Venice Beach and watch that. Like, it's cool, man. I'd rather see 40-year-old LeBron in the dunk contest versus Vince Carter in street clothes. Like, that would be more entertaining to me. Like, something. Get Shaq out there, Charles Barkley, anybody.
Why?
Like, I don't get the.
Why can't they get anyone in that contest?
I mean, I think it's kind of like what? How many more dunks can you come up with if you're like I don't know, like you can't like bring a seal on the court and be like, okay, off the seal, the seal hits it with his nose, I dunk it. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't bring out like a tank of piranhas and be like, I'm going to jump over the tank of piranhas and dunk it. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, it's like the 360s, everybody's done a 360. Everybody's done the Jordan. Everybody's, tried to take off from further out than Jordan did. I don't know what else there is to do. So you can basically do what Mac McClung did, which is like, it's a guy who should be working at Sprouts, but he can also dunk. You know what I mean? Like, the dude from Sprouts showed up the dunk contest and he won. Hey, can I get that in paper, Matt? Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Great. I mean, that's the allure right now, is that like a little dude who can dunk because he's got big hops. Like, it's just not exciting to me. And so I'm more excited, or was more excited, about the WNBA Sabrina, I forget her last name now. I'm going to blow it. I'm blowing it. Anyway, the Steph versus Sabrina 3-point contest, NBA versus WNBA. That to me is more exciting. And I wish there would be a little bit more crossover like that, like skills, 3-point contest. Make it be more about fun. If it's going to be about fundamentals, then make it be about fundamentals. But if it's not stars dunking, like, I don't think anybody cares. You can go to a G League game for way cheaper than an All-Star game. And it's going to be that. that you're just going to see dudes dunk it all game because there's no defense in a G League game. So I don't understand the allure. I'm sure Sixers legend. Sixers legend Matt McClung is probably going to defend his title, and we'll all be wonderful. It'll be wonderful. Ooh, this is good. Yeah, Howard Hill's got a good one. Gary Payton's got a good point. $500,000 for the dunk contest winner. That's the only way you make people care. That's the only reason the players cared about the in-season tournament, I felt like, was that they were going to make some monies. Everybody likes cash monies, and so make it worth their while, and suddenly everybody will start participating. You can even do the same with the All-Star game itself. The winner of the All-Star game, everybody gets, $500 grand or whatever. And I'll bet the intensity would ratchet up quite a bit. I don't know. The All-Star game is kind of boring for me and has been since the 80s. 90s.
The All-Star game's awful.
Yeah. Last year was bad. Last year was unwatchable. I think I watched for 7 minutes and was like, hey, this is dumb. I don't want to watch this anymore.
None of those dudes want to be there.
Right. Right.
Like, also, none of them want to get hurt in a dumbass All-Star game,
Agreed.
So
absolutely right.
It just sort of feels silly with all the pomp and circumstance, and then they go out there and just like, the center's gonna jack up a 40-foot three.
Right.
And you're just like sick.
Karl Anthony Towns going for 70 again, people. 70 points on 80 shots. Here we go.
Probably.
Maybe 90 shots. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I haven't been interested in the All-Star game in a long time. I think the last one I was interested in might have been the last one Kobe played in. And even then I was kind of like, nobody's trying. Kobe tried. He always tried. He hated losing with such a passion that he couldn't help but like make it a game. But like you're right. Like LeBron wishes that he maybe wasn't an all-star and that he could just stop moving and put himself in phrase himself in carbonite or whatever he does when he's not playing basketball to extend his career. Feast on the souls of the young or whatever it is that he does. We'll never know. I'm sure. Maybe when he retires, he'll do a documentary on all the things that he did to extend his career. But I just make it like the young guys. Make it like the rookie game should just be the All-Star game because those guys have something to like show and prove and care. But like KD, he don't care. LeBron, he don't care. None of them. I think you make a good point, and that if the superstars aren't invested, where's the entertainment? What are you going to do for the All-Star?
There isn't any.
Right. What are you going to do? Yeah.
I'm going to prep a music video that I have to shoot in 2 weeks.
Yeah. For what band?
It's two guys from bands I've made videos for before, and they did a side project thing, and I don't even think they know what it's called.
Oh, okay. Well, they'll have a cool
I have
video.
a song. Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see.
This is
not a large budget. Not a large budget on this one.
What's the budget? You don't have to say. Don't say. We don't have to talk about it.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Let's put it under the category of not a lot. Not enough on top of it.
There we go. Kurt Affair, I love this. Wemby with a cowboy hat looked like Gumby in Yellowstone. Good one, Kurt Affair. That's a good one. That's killing me, dude. Kurt Affair is one of my favorite chatters. He's always got jokes.
Wemby doesn't look real.
I mean, he's gonna be a problem in like 4 years.
No, I know, but like
he's already a problem on
No, but like when I watch him in the game, it looks like I'm watching like NBA 2K where it malfunctioned.
Right.
Like he doesn't look real. Like he looks too long to be on a court, like to be a real human being.
That would be my only fear. He's too lanky and he might get like broken. But it's not that era of NBA either, where like guys are like hitting you hard or not. Maybe Pat Bev hits people hard, but I mean, he's just a little guy, little old Pat Bev, trying to matter, but he doesn't. Nobody hits like Shaq or Fox or Doug Christie or, that era of basketball. And so that's done. Like Draymond Green wishes he could play in the 90s. You know what I mean? Where like hand checking was legal and he could knock dudes down, and that was just a tough foul. But
what? He's too little.
Draymond Green?
Yeah, he would have gotten knocked on his ass. He's
true.
like a tough guy for like right now.
Right. Yeah.
And then if he had back in the day, somebody's in the chat bringing up Charles Oakley. If he had gone up against Charles Oakley, no.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Somebody, yeah. No, Charles Oakley would have owned him. Half the dudes in the 90s would have owned him. He would, I mean, he probably admires Dennis Rodman, but Dennis Rodman would have just, he would have gotten in under his skin and in his head in like 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes of him, like, holding his jersey in just the right way so that the ref doesn't call it. And Draymond Green would lose his mind and get ejected. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't have the cool or the temperament to deal with like the type of basketball he wants to play. I feel like he's like a bully. I just think of him as like a bully. Like when you punch a bully, then suddenly they're like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And that's how I think of him. So I don't have a lot of respect for Green. I call him Nutshot because of his multiple shots to the nuts, and I just think he's cheap. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. We've been doing this for almost an hour, although the first 10 minutes were a little bit rocky. So for those of you who've been stuck around for the whole show, thanks for bearing with my technical prowess or lack thereof. Someday Neil will get his camera figured out, and we'll do this again.
Sorry, I'm stupid.
Nah, you're not stupid. It's just, listen, we're not getting paid for this.
I know how to use a $250,000 camera, but I can't figure out how to turn on my.
There you go. Your webcam
camera on my laptop. Yeah. I feel very dumb.
Is there a little slidey thing you have to slide at the top of the camera?
No. Well, at first I thought maybe I just had like a stick, sometimes I put a piece of tape over it because I have a Mac and the shits are always live. But I don't know.
It might be something in the web browser. Let's not worry about it. All right, let's wrap it up by talking a little bit more. So I have one more Kings related question. Something that kind of reminds me of. Well, it's just kind of. I just found it kind of. It seemed to be gimmicky to me, but it has turned into a rallying cry. And what do you feel about the whole like the beam thing? What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I loved it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's something you could do forever, but again, it was so nice because they've just been so bad for so long that like, I know people are like, oh, you should act like you've been there before, but like, no, they had not been there in so long. They had not even been like an okay team,
right?
Like they weren't even like, oh, at least we're mediocre. They were just like atrociously bad.
Yeah. No.
And it was also fun. Like it's like, oh, we won a game. Let's light the beam. Ding.
Right. I mean, I liken it to the Angels Rally Monkey, which has gone on forever, by the way. Like since the Rally Monkey came into being, it has gone nowhere. It's still
wow.
They still show the Rally Monkey.
Still there?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Angels are losing a lot
for
reason, so they need the Rally. They still need the Rally Monkey because we're so terrible year after year. But
that poor monkey.
You guys, I'm so tired of hopping. Please, just try to win. Try. Poor monkey. Oh man.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm dying.
Dante thinks the beam is dope AF as well. I mean, like I said, I thought it was a little gimmicky at first, but then I think I kind of listen. I have to root for. It's hard for me to root for the Kings because of the old playoff battles between them and the Lakers. But as they kind of slipped into like epic mediocrity, pity eventually took over. And so I'm at a point where if I kind of feel like the same way about the Kings as I do about the Timberwolves. If there's a team that's not going to, if the Lakers aren't going to win the championship in a year, and if it was the Kings or the Timberwolves or the Pelicans or the Knicks, I would be fine with that. Even the 76ers. I'd even be fine with the 76ers winning a championship. As long as it's not Phoenix or the Spurs or the Warriors, and there's no way it can ever be the Celtics. those teams. I just don't want. If it's not going to be the Lakers, I don't want those teams to win it. I'd rather it go to like I'm happier when I was like stoked when the Bucks won it, right? Because like Milwaukee, what do we got? Cheese, you know, PBR,
Beer.
right? Beer, fried. Put some kind of food in the deep fryer and eat it. Like that's what they got. So it was nice for that community, for that state, for that town, for that city, for all the Milwaukee Bucks fans who've been fans for forever, for them to win a title. That's how I felt about that. And so and I guess this is me being a weird, generous fan as a Laker fan. Like, oh, I'm sorry if it's one of the years that we're not going to win it. Please let a team who has never won it win the title this year. Like I as long as really honestly almost any team, as long as it's not the Celtics. And I just think KD's kind of like the ultimate merc, and so I just kind of have a problem with KD winning it at this point. Just because I used to love KD, and then he just started ring hopping teams, and I stopped liking KD. I was just like, should have stuck it out in Brooklyn, bro. Like should have made. I don't know what Brooklyn does to players to make them want to flee, like their hair's on fire, but man. That something's rotten in Brooklyn because nobody wants to play there except broken Ben Simmons.
Right. I'll play in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, you'll take a 10-day contract to go play in Brooklyn. Bad back and
yeah.
What is a 10-day contract?
I mean, probably more than I do. So
you're 10 days.
My main gig is teaching college kids, and let me tell you, that does not pay a lot.
Sure. My main gig is fixing computers for college kids, so it's the same boat. But I get copious amounts of time.
Wait, why do you not like the Suns? Is it just Durant, or is it just because it's the Suns?
It's a little bit of both. It's the Suns. Like I have a little bit of animosity from when Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs, and I really felt like Kobe should have won the year that he scored 81 points, because he just was doing things that few players can do. And that's not a knock against Nash, who is probably like a better all-around player, the Suns had a better record. But I just thought that like if you take Kobe Bryant off that Laker team, like they're last in the West. And if you take Steve Nash off that Phoenix team, there's probably still a fringe playoff team. And that's sort of how I felt about that second one that Nash won. I was like, you gave him the gold star for being plucky and Canadian once, and that was enough. And then you didn't reward one of the best players that's ever played the game for playing at a level few ever even can dream of achieving. So there's a few weird little things, and this is just me. I wouldn't hate on the Suns. I wouldn't be like, that's it, the NBA is terrible. But I just don't think I've just never been a Suns fan. I've never been a Suns fan. And like I don't know anybody that is a Suns fan. And that's the other thing. Like I have friends who are Sacramento Kings fans. I have friends who are Minnesota Timberwolves, Philadelphia 76ers fans. So for your sake and their sake, if it wasn't going to be the Lakers, I would like for you to get to experience what it's like, to have your team win a championship and be like, dope, I'm going to go, maybe I'll go to the parade or whatever.
I'm not going to Sacramento for a parade. I don't really want to go to Sacramento for almost anything. I did get tattooed in Sacramento once though, so there is that.
All right. See, I liked Booker up until like 2 seasons ago. I really wanted to like Devin Booker, and then he just got like Danny Ainge level whiny with the refs, and then I stopped liking Devin Booker. And that's where I'm at with that.
I'll agree with that. He really does whine a lot, and it's kind of annoying.
It's incessant.
It's like watching what's Don Luca.
Oh, and I thought
like,
gotten better. I think he's gotten better this year though, a little bit, like the littlest bit.
Yeah, there was a point last year where like the other team's scoring and he's still like yelling at the ref, and you're just like, come on, man.
Right, just play.
Booker's also really annoying when they're winning.
Yeah,
like he's a bad winner and he's like an annoying loser on top of it.
Right. I really wanted to like him because I felt like he was one of the last ones to like. I just thought like he had that kind of. He has kind of like scoring the profile that I like in an NBA superstar, like scores inside, scores outside, a lot of different shots that he can throw up there. But then, yeah, his annoyance factor just eclipsed all of that. And I was like, no, you're just like a whiny kid, and nobody wants to watch the whiny kid win. Like nobody wants the whiny kid to win. Everybody wants the whiny kid to go home and stop whining. So I wish he would figure out how to do that. Same with Luka. Luka's like I think Luka's like 2% better this year at not being so whiny. But in general, I feel the same about both those guys. Like, just come on, man. Parade in Sacramento will be like going to the farmers market.
I mean, probably.
Kurt, you're on fire today, man. You're on fire. That's a good one. Oh, that's really, really, really fun. Oh, look, I'll get some veggies. Maybe get a balloon animal. Oh, look, some basketball players. And also, one more time, condolences to all the Chiefs fans who had to endure teenage cowards, evidently ruining your parade. That's some BS. Nothing more cowardly than shooting guns into a crowd. You'd be more brave if you stole somebody's hat and took a Duke in it. Like that's cooler. That's a cooler thing to do. If you want to be disruptive, just take a banker's hat and take a big old crap in it. You'll be a true rebel, guaranteed. Shooting guns into the crowd, you're just a coward. All right, I think we'll probably wrap it up right about here. Yep. 2010 vengeance was awesome. I agree. I'm going to highlight that one. Isabel, you're right. The 2010 Laker championship was by far my favorite. Everything about it was awesome. From the Ron Artest post game conference, which is one of the best post game conferences in all sport history. When he's up there with his whole family, he's like, and then Kobe passed me the ball. As if it was the first time it happened in his entire life. It was just one of the great comments of my. Oh man, yeah, agreed, Kurt.
I miss Ron Artest.
I do too. I feel like somebody was saying that when we were talking about Draymond Green that Ron Artest would have like taken him to school. Agreed. There's like 5 guys who would have just annihilate Draymond Green's little childish antic game that he plays. And so Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest, aka Meta Panda, or he had another name there for a hot minute. They would all annihilate him. So well, I'd like to thank you, Neil, for coming on. Well, if you want, we can try this again sometime. I love to talk basketball.
Yeah, sure. This was super fun. I don't really have a lot of people to talk basketball with.
Yeah, and we have a great chat. There's great people here, as you can see. They're quite humorous. And
I'll figure out my actual camera situation.
Or just use your phone. That's what I do because I have the same. Sometimes I use the same.
I should have just done that. I'm stupid.
We'll get there. We'll get there, man. We got our whole lives, all 5 years left, or however many we got.
I know. 3.
As I say every year when I turn a new age, halfway to dead. By now, I'm an optimist. I'm going to be 50 next year. People are like, "Oh, you're going to be 100." I'll be like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." Anyway, I'd like to thank the world's greatest chat room for your lovely comments, especially Kurt Affair. You're on fire today. And Neil, thank you for coming on. And I'd like to thank Gerald, who set us all up for this, Joe, for his incredible participation early on, Stone Hansen, Nick, Laker Tom, if you're out there, finish moving, man. If you haven't hit like and subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you find our podcasts. 5-star reviews are helpful. Get us out there, like us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. You guys are all awesome. Let's enjoy what all-star festivities we may. Really, the 3-point contest is the only thing that's worth. The 3-point Steph versus Sabrina is the only thing worth watching. And it's your fault, Adam Silver. You make a boring product. And so, yeah, that's it. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Neil. And have a good one.
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye.